I'm Jamie Butters, Executive Editor of Automotive News, and I'm here with Tyson Jominy, one of the Vice Presidents of JD Power.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. Good to see you as well as at this JD Power sponsored event or organized event here on the eve of the New York Auto Show. It's also the time when first quarter and March auto sales are being announced, and you are one of our go-to experts on the auto market. What the heck is happening out there?
I mean, sales have been strong in general, primarily, top line, total sales, all channels combined. Sales are up very solidly single digits from year ago levels. However, when we dive to the next level, what we see is a lot of that growth is coming from fleet sales. So very strong sales to the fleet channel, which means that the retail channel is behind a little bit. So automakers have been sending more units to the fleet channel, which is helping to keep higher prices for automakers, but also higher prices for consumers.
They're not getting they're not oversupplying the retail channel where people can start to demand the discounts we saw in the before times.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing record transaction prices in Q1, and the ability to move things to the fleet channel, normally it could be considered a sign of weakness. But now that the fleet channel is so profitable, this is actually a great sign for profitability for automakers, that they can move vehicles from one channel to the other to maximize revenue as opposed to just keeping the plants open, which is what normally goes on.
One of the things that I've been struggling with, if you look March to March, it's a little up. First quarter to first quarter, it's a little up. But within the quarter, the SAR, the seasonally adjusted annualized rate, has been coming down, 16, 15, 14-ish. Is that a trend that's going to continue, or is that just a flukiness of the seasonal factors?
Yeah, the seasonal factors have been wrong for a long time in the auto industry. There's no seasonality right now because we don't have enough vehicles to feed the seasonality that should be there. So when you look at SAR, it is a bit flaky right now. It's up and down. I would say look at the raw numbers, the sales numbers themselves, and I think that provides a better indication right now of what's going on. And from that, we see that sales are up modestly from year-ago levels.
A lot of good numbers reported in the last couple of days. Two companies that stand out for not great numbers, Toyota and Stellantis. They seem like very different stories.
Yeah.
What's going on under the hood with both of those?
Well, I mean, Toyota, I guess for them, it's a sign of just how long and difficult this supply chain crisis has been. I mean, an automaker with as much production excellence and supply chain excellence as Toyota continues to struggle. And I think that's really what's going on, is they're still quite struggling with their supply chain. Stellantis, perhaps on the other end of the spectrum, they're producing a lot of expensive vehicles. I mean, something we're keeping an eye on for the industry is the number of high trim, high option vehicles that are being produced. It's far outpacing demand right now. And so Stellantis has produced a lot of very expensive Ram and Wagoneers and Grand Cherokee L's. They need to start adjusting that mix back down to the lower end of the market, smaller SUVs, where consumers are, and I think they'll find that success there.
That was something that really stood out to me in the data that your colleague Thomas King had on the screen earlier, that gap. Because we've seen so much of, especially during the scarcity of the pandemic, but even before, especially with trucks, like the higher you could go, the better. The more loaded it was, the faster it sold. And even though they were higher profit, they've sold faster. And that's now finally been maxed out or overshot a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, right now the gap between what's selling and what is on the lots, it's a $5,000 gap of what is sitting on the lots. The average MSRP is $5,000 above what sells right now, which is an indication that prices have to come down. Our thesis here for 2023 is that prices will come down later in the year. The way we're going to get there, of course, we can do it with incentives. We can do it a lot of the old techniques, or we could start building lower priced units, lower trims, lower options, and start bringing down the price more organically than having to pull that incentives lever, because that's something we want to avoid.